Hello again. Today we have a bit of a weird story. Enjoy. Title: Sports Obsession and Superstition, Straining Our Relationship. I am a 24-year-old woman, and my boyfriend, also 24, and I have been in a committed relationship for nearly a year and a half. We moved in together 5 months ago after dating for a little over a year. He's truly a remarkable person, kind, considerate, and without a mean streak. We share similar humor, life goals, and beliefs, and both our families and friends get along wonderfully. I love him deeply and genuinely envision a future together. However, there's a growing issue that seems minor on the surface but is starting to impact our relationship significantly. My boyfriend has a deep passion for sports, which I also share, but his level of engagement goes far beyond normal fandom. He is extremely superstitious and believes his actions can influence the outcome of games, particularly those involving his favorite teams, the Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, and Revolution. This isn't just a quaint quirk, his behaviors are starting to interfere with our daily lives. For instance, earlier this baseball season, the Red Sox went on a winning streak that coincided with a day my boyfriend had accidentally fallen asleep on the couch in his socks. Convinced that his unwashed socks were a good luck charm, he continued to wear them throughout the streak. He refused to take them off or wash them, even when they began to smell terribly. He would wash the rest of his body and wear clean clothes, but those socks stayed on. It was both gross and baffling to me. His superstitions don't end with baseball. When the NFL season began, and his car was temporarily out of commission, he walked to work and took the bus back. The Patriots won the first 2 games while he did this, so he became convinced that his new routine was helping the team win. He continued this practice for the first 10 games of the season, ignoring the inconvenience and the weather, and even considered missing a close friend's wedding because it required us to travel out of town. He was deeply upset when the Patriots lost their first game the day after the wedding, and although he didn't lash out at me verbally or physically, he made it clear that he held me responsible for the loss. His game day rituals extend into every aspect of his life. He insists on eating specific foods, drinking his coffee a certain way, and even visiting the same gas station on game days. Last season, he bought coffee every morning, even when he didn't want it, just because he thought it helped the Bruins. He's particular about the brands of personal care products he uses, based on the sports season, and even his seating arrangement in our living room during games. When we decided to move in together, a practical issue arose with our living room furniture. I had a nearly new set, which included a couch, a love seat, and 2 recliners. His furniture, on the other hand, was old and worn out, literally held together with wood pieces and duct tape. However, he insisted on keeping his because he was unsure how my new furniture would affect the temperament of the games. I reluctantly agreed to store my furniture at my parents' house, who were looking for replacements. At the time, it seemed like a small compromise, but it has grown into a symbol of the larger issue at hand. Looking toward the future, he has even mentioned that any potential proposal or wedding would need to be scheduled around the sports calendar to ensure it doesn't interfere with any games. While I'm a sports fan, the idea that our major life events could be dictated by game schedules is disheartening. I've tried to address these concerns with him multiple times. Wanting to support him, I even suggested therapy. We've attended couples therapy and he has seen therapists individually, who have all reassured him that his behavior is within normal bounds. This has only solidified his belief that there is no issue with his actions, leaving me feeling increasingly isolated and unsure of how to proceed. He's a wonderful partner in every other respect, attentive and loving, and never abusive or dismissive. But as we're preparing to move into a larger apartment, I'm hesitant about signing the lease. I love him and enjoy sharing our life together, but I'm deeply concerned about how his obsessive behaviors might impact our future. If anyone has any insights or advice on how to handle this situation, would greatly appreciate it. I'm at a crossroads and need some guidance on whether these are genuine red flags or if I'm overreacting to what others deem normal behavior. Thank you so much for reading and for any advice you might offer. Update. I'm finally in a place where things have settled down, and I wanted to share an update with all of you who offered support. As of now, he is my ex-boyfriend. A few days after reading all your posts, I decided to have another conversation with my ex. It started off poorly. A Red Sox game was on, and he blamed their loss on my distracting him with our talk. That escalated into a major argument, which should have been a clear sign that things weren't right. I should have ended things there, but I didn't. The next day, when we both had the day off, he seemed to turn a new leaf. He got me roses, cooked lunch with candlelight and music, and even asked me to dance with him in our living room. He apologized and promised to do better, acknowledging that his behavior was unfair to me. He talked about getting help and seeing another therapist, and he even discussed future plans for us together. I wanted to believe he had changed, so I listened. He did follow through on making an appointment with a therapist and talked openly about his feelings and mine. He agreed that we would get new furniture for the new place we were planning to move into. I gave him space regarding his habits, hoping not to push him away while he was committed to changing. However, just a week or so later, something happened that completely upended my life. A new coworker, a two-time skin cancer survivor, noticed a mole on my arm and urged me to see a doctor. Despite my initial reluctance, I went, and the diagnosis was melanoma. I needed surgery to remove the mole and to check if the cancer had spread to my lymph nodes. The surgery was scheduled for a day my ex had tickets to a Bruins preseason game. Incredibly, he asked me to postpone the surgery because he believed attending the game was crucial for the team. He even called my doctor pretending to be me to request the postponement. He said if I went through with the surgery, he couldn't support me because the team needed him. He then told me I couldn't use his recliner when I came home from the hospital because he needed it for game day. I was supposed to use the broken couch. That was the last straw. I broke up with him, called a friend who helped me pack all my belongings, and moved out. It was the end of his lease month, and although I wasn't on the lease, I paid the landlord the last month's rent to leave no loose ends. I cut all contact with him. I underwent the surgery, and thankfully, the cancer hadn't reached my lymph nodes. The recovery was tough, not just physically but emotionally too, given everything with my ex. But I was lucky, the cancer was caught at stage 2. Since then, I've become vigilant about sun protection and regular skin checks. The scar is a constant reminder, but it could have been so much worse. Yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of my surgery. The support from my friends, family, and co-workers has been overwhelming. I'm back at work, recently received a small promotion, and have started night school to further my career. I've also taken up rock climbing. And just last Monday, I went on an impromptu date at a juice bar with someone I met at the gym. It's nice to feel like I'm moving forward. That's my update. I haven't seen or spoken to my ex since the breakup. I heard he ended up in the hospital for exposure during a power outage in a blizzard because he refused to leave his apartment, all to support his teams. It's clear he's not ready to change, but that's no longer my problem. Thank you all again for your kindness and advice during a very difficult time in my life.